I'm going to tell you about my recent frustrations with building out our product line and how we got misled and underestimated. So as some of you know, we've been working on a skincare line and a hair care line, and we're trying to make everything from scratch with custom formulations. On the skin side, we started with a scar gel, which is out now. Make sure to check out the link in the description below. We also have some hair prescription medications, and so that is also in the description below. Now let me walk you through the process of getting the scar gel off the ground. We started with an idea of which ingredients we wanted in the product and which ingredients we wanted to completely avoid. And then the question is, like, which properties are we looking for in the scar gel? Like how quickly it dries, does it have a glossy finish or a matte finish? Because I treat, as many of you know, scars on the face, and so having certain properties to that type of scar gel applied on the face is very important and different from scar gels that can be put anywhere. We then had to find a chemist who was able and willing to formulate the scar gel, and luckily we had a great connection to an experienced beauty chemist with like over 30 years of experience, so that was really helpful. And then once we had the formulation and different versions of the formulation, we had everyone who was around us try it out and see how it felt on their skin. We then found a local manufacturer who was able to produce this scar gel in the quantity that we were looking for. Many manufacturers have very high minimum numbers of items that they'll produce for you. So they might say, oh, you need to produce 10,000 of these products for us to be able to manufacture it. And that number is very high for a product line like ours that's brand new, that we're just still sort of testing out. So we were looking for a lower minimum. We found a company that was willing to do 2,500 units of this scar gel. So then we went through stability testing of the product to make sure that the formulated product was able to maintain its integrity for at least 3 months. So it has to sit on a shelf, and then they test it throughout those months to make sure that it still is what it was originally intended to be. And then we had to go through product testing. So we found a lab that does consumer product testing with a dermatologist and like a clinical lab, and they basically create a research study to make sure that the scar gel is at a minimum safe and that it doesn't give people different types of like hypersensitivity reactions and other allergic reactions on the skin. And that process took almost 4 months. In addition, I had to seek out the help of a regulatory consultant to advise on the wording that gets put on the label to make sure that we're not overstating the potential benefits of the scar gel and that we're putting everything on the labels that need to be added for proper regulatory purposes. I also had to find a bottle and a cap combination that seemed to make sense for the product. It's not like anyone's telling you like, oh, go with this. Like, you basically have to do it all yourself. Even like the tubing that's in the bottle from the cap, how deep does it have to go into the bottle to properly get the item out when you're squeezing the little cap? And this was all done separate from finding the manufacturer that was going to replicate the formula and fill the bottles. I also found a designer for the label and the label that went on the bottle, as well as the labeling for the box design that the little bottle was going to go into. And so finding that designer, working with them, getting a nice layout for that, of course, also took time. And then you have to find a company that can print the box and the screen printing for the bottle. So that also is yet another company that was involved in this whole process. And then when the manufacturer is ready to fill the bottles and ship them, they need to ship it to some place. So either you have your own storage and distribution facility, or what most people do is they borrow the resources of yet another company that specifically does that. So then we had to find this type of storage and distribution warehouse that could help us fill the orders. And then of course build out a website, which is called feelconfident.com, that would store these products so that people can access them, find them, purchase them. So now let's talk about this manufacturer. And of course, we're not going to give out the name of the manufacturer to protect their identity, but we wanted to give you guys just a sense of the process and what we went through and some of our frustrations learning how to navigate this very different world than the surgical world that I'm in. So when it came to the scar gel, our chemist formulated the scar gel, and at the end of our transactions with him, he gave us this formula, right? It was actually printed out, typed out, and we could take the formula and go to any manufacturer that we wanted to get the scar gel made. The manufacturer has to replicate the formula to make sure, that they can make something that is exactly what the chemist spelled out. But at the end of the day, what I paid the chemist for is the formulation, and that was always the way that I thought it ought to be, and the way that I, figured any other products that we ever made were going to be. That at the end of the formulation, we would have access to the formula that we essentially paid for. Now, when it came time for some of the hair care products, specifically the shampoo and conditioner, we went to the manufacturer and we said, this is our next product that we want to work on, next set of products. And they said, oh, you know what? We can actually formulate it for you. We have chemists in our facility, and you don't have to go to the chemist you already worked with. You can just come to us, since everything is here in-house. We'll formulate it, and then we'll manufacture it for you. So that sounded great. So we signed up for that. We paid whatever fees they told us it would cost. Then we waited, and it was formulated based on our requests and input and all of that. And our experience, again, came from the scar gel experience, which was that we'd get a formula at the end of it. And we were never told by this manufacturer that we would not get a formula in hand. So that, to us, was a surprise, when at the end of formulating the shampoo and conditioner, the manufacturer decided that they were only going to release the ingredient list, but that they wouldn't give us the actual formula. And what happened was we were starting to have lapses in communication with the manufacturer. So we stopped feeling super secure with our relationship with that manufacturer, and we wanted to take the manufacturing elsewhere. But they were holding our formulas hostage. And they said that if we wanted to actually get the formula to use elsewhere, we were going to have to pay them $10,000 per product. So for the shampoo, $10,000, for the conditioner, $10,000. But we said to them, hey, but we've already paid you for the formulation. They said, no, you paid us for the R&D, the research and development. That was never made clear to us. And they knew that we were coming from this background of having a formula in hand from the scar gel from this other chemist that we brought to them. So we're used to having a formula. And here they were basically limiting our access to the formula and only releasing it if we paid them $20,000, which was never included in any contract or explained to us beforehand. So we felt that that was just really misleading us throughout the entire sort of process. And so what I realized is that that's definitely a tactic that these manufacturers can use to keep you basically glued to them for manufacturing products. But I think that people ought to have a lot more freedom and flexibility to take their products elsewhere, and if they need and if they want to decide to manufacture it somewhere else, right? I think everyone deserves that freedom. And that's definitely a realization that we had to learn the hard way. Now, finding a new manufacturer will definitely set us back financially and also time-wise. But we won't stop trying to get you guys the best possible products, and we feel that control over the formulation process is an important part of that. What we've learned is that it's difficult early on to be taken seriously in a new space, right? We're basically coming in as the underdogs, and these manufacturers deal with much larger companies, and I think they look to us as people who, don't really know what they're doing and, most likely will fail. And why should they invest, extra energy in a customer like us? They also, I think, don't appreciate the YouTube community and how powerful of a force it could be. But we definitely think differently, and we're going to continue to search for the best possible partners in the business to fulfill our goal of getting you the best quality products. Thank you all for your patience and for your support as we navigate this new terrain. To find out the latest on our products and as they launch, please sign up for the mailing list at signup.feelconfident.com. And for all of the current products that we have available, go to feelconfident.com. Thank you all for the incredible support throughout this entire process.